we are going to talk about how every day is a crossroads for the black man in America. And yes, some would argue and say every day is a crossroads for everybody, but don't jump on it. It's always been that way for us. It's always been that way for us. Trust and believe. It ain't nothing new. You know, even though you got a president that just got shot at, you know, he gets spoken of so badly. Seems like he's trying to earn his black card. Not that we're going to talk about stereotypes. Just want to know if you can hear the sound okay. Everything sounds good. Renee Green, welcome on in. How do I sound? Do I sound okay? Make sure that the sound is good before I go off on my little rant right here, my little tangent. Let's see. Anyway, I'm feeling good. A lot of wonderful things happening this week and next week. And I'm going to flow with that energy. And we have a lot of good things to share. We're right up on the precipice of it. And I'm not going to let anybody rob me of that. I'm not going to let anybody rob me of that. See, sometimes things can be rough when you look around and the clouds clear away and it's a bright, sunny day. Let me tell you something. These damn demons know when you have goodness coming at you. They know. Sometimes they know before you do. That's why they try to jack you up. Have you all messed up? Thank you so much. If for some reason I have a power outage on this end, it may take a minute for me to come on in, but I'll go in with another gadget of mine. That happens sometimes, but I have the whole setup here. I wanted to speak about this. Yeah, every day is the crossroads for a black man in America. Every decision has weight. Am I discounting my sisters? No, I'm not. You're included in this too. But you know how the black man gets targeted. And I'm going to tell you something. We're not talking about those who try to put themselves in harm's way. Because look, we got some men out here who they look for trouble. And when they get it, they want to cry foul. They want to say, oh, it's because I'm black. Because you're stupid. You got to move a certain way in this world. It's not just America. But I speak about America because this is where I grew up. I know the ropes there. I got a radar there. I got a sixth sense in America. Yes, I do. And I'm over here in the motherland and I still got it. And I will still talk about the issues over there in America. Because that's my heart and soul. That's where I was raised. How could I not think about the place and my loved ones who are there? My family and friends who are there. Let me tell you how much of a small world it is. It's a small world. So you got to walk a certain way because you know what? News gets around quick when you don't carry yourself correctly. Look, there's a young lady that I met out here. It's something very official. You will see her soon. And I get a phone call. I'm not putting any names out there. But the person who's done shows with me. He says, hey, SCURV. Take a look at this. And he turned the phone her way. And it was my friend that I just met. I'm like, wait a second, my jaw dropped. Y'all know each other? And they were like, well, he told me, he says, yeah, I got a guy out there in Ghana, my buddy there, SCURV, Lancescurv. And she said, Lancescurv? I met Lancescurv. I said, what? Small world, y'all. See how it is now? See, let me just say one thing. We need more of that, black folks. We need more of that. Because let me tell you something. If I was a jerk, and she took me to be a jerk, and he mentioned my name, oh, man. I'm not going to say that we'll start to talking, but you know how we do. Oh, he ain't no good. He's this and he's that. But all across the other side, over there in America, just brought up my name. And I just got her business card a couple weeks ago and we talked. See, but we're missing that now. We're missing that connectedness. There's a different vibration going on now in the world. We just seem to be off. So for the brothers who are the targets, just want to share a few little words, because we have to understand that every decision has weight, and sometimes we make decisions thinking something is light or innocent, and we never come back home. We find ourselves at the morgue. We find ourselves locked up in something seemingly innocent. And so the traps are set out here. We have to really be cool, because life for black men in America is like walking a tightrope with 1,000 decisions tugging at every step. See, we're born into a system that really has never played fair. And every choice we make can be the tipping point that sends us spiraling one way or the other. I'm talking about the kind of daily choices that may look small in the moment, but those seemingly minor decisions add up to a life path, determining whether we thrive, survive, or fall into a trap that takes years to escape. Whether it's a simple choice of who we spend time with, where we decide to work, or even what neighborhood we move to. Each one holds weight we may not fully understand at the time. One wrong decision can pull you off that tightrope, leaving you hanging. We often don't see what's coming until it's too late. A friend with hidden motives, a girlfriend with her own issues, or a flash of anger at the wrong moment. All these scenarios have their own traps. They may seem like everyday situations, but for us, the consequences can be life-altering. You might not know the impact of those choices today, but each decision shapes tomorrow, and let's be real, some choices will decide if you even see that tomorrow, life or death. For every black man listening to this, understand that every moment is an intersection. Each choice is the compass pointing either toward your growth or your downfall. Either you're going up or you're going down. We've got to stay vigilant, aware, and strategic in every move we make. I'm laying down the 20 key decisions that can make or break us. I took time and thought about this, so take them seriously. It just isn't about advice. It's survival, because you have to be a thinking individual in this world today. And you can't play checkers. You better play chess, and you better think 3 and 4 moves down the line. You just can't see it for what it is, and that's what it is, and okay, that's done. No, it's not. You might get that knock on the door. You're taking you away. You might get that phone call from the health department for that young lady that you laid up with last week. I'm not knocking on sisters, but this is realistic. When I'm talking to the brothers, if I was talking to the sisters, I would say, hey, you might get a call from the health department for that dude you laid up with. Because it goes for both of us. Choosing your friends carefully. A good friend can be a lifeline, but a bad one can be a life sentence. One wrong crowd and you could find yourself in a situation you didn't see coming. Don't let anyone pull you into their mess and ruin your future in the process. How many times have we heard of a young man or a young woman? Okay, I'm talking to the brothers, but it goes both ways. And we have situations that happen that it was something of a stray bullet. You can't help that. But here you have a young man who may have a scholarship into a school, a free ride, and he's going away soon. So his buddies from the neighborhood that are not bad, but there's 1 or 2 of them that did take the wrong road and they want to hang with him that night. Well, guess what? One of them has a beef with somebody, and there's some gunplay. And you say to yourself, or in hindsight, why did he have to be there? Now, maybe the guy is caught with a bullet that was meant for somebody else, and he's paralyzed from the neck down. Worse off, shot in the head. Didn't have to go out. Didn't look at the company that he knows their movements. That's why they say you have to choose your friends carefully. It sounds corny. I don't want to hear that. I can handle it. You know how you get a little older, get a little testosterone in your bloodstream, and you know everything. You know life. You know it all. And you so pumped up on the testosterone that you have in your system, all of those sexy young ladies around you, knowing you get ready to leave out of town to go to college, you got a free ride, you're an athlete also, you know that you might be getting those big bucks, and they want to lay a down payment on your future, if you know what I mean. So you don't want to hear things sometimes. That's how it goes. Be careful, y'all. Sometimes, to be honest, it doesn't even pay to go outside. I'm not even saying be a hermit, but when you're laying in a hospital bed or laying in the morgue or somewhere where it was unfortunate, you think back and you say, you know what, I really didn't have to do this. Right? Let's look at another one. Navigating romantic relationships. Dating can seem like innocent fun, but a relationship can quickly turn into a responsibility that lasts a lifetime. And you know what I'm talking about. The wrong partner can come with hidden struggles, whether it's an unexpected child or health risks you didn't sign up for. Choose wisely. Now, the unexpected child is here. When it gets here, you got to deal with it. It's all fun and games when you sneak in and this thing feels so good, because let me tell you something. When you're 14, 15, 16, whatever it is that you started doing to do that thing feels so good. It's like, I don't want this to get away from me. Not knowing that into your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, keep yourself in good shape, that feeling will be there. But when you're young, man, and you don't think about it. I'm not trying to get lewd, but you know how it goes. I just want to put the head in. Okay, you know how that goes. Come on. And me, when I see young ladies who are pregnant, that means she didn't use protection or he didn't use protection. That's a risk, not only for a baby, but for the monster, the STDs and all these other exotic sounding diseases that are out here. Life looks different when these things happen. Managing your temper. With everything black men go through, it's no surprise there's frustration. But giving into that anger in the wrong place or time can land you in serious trouble. Sometimes the strongest move is restraint. The strongest move is restraint. Even when the world tests you, live to see another day. So easy to get locked up. I saw a cartoon one time. It was a sketch. It wasn't a moving cartoon. It was something in the newspaper. And it was a white cop describing a 14-year-old boy. So you see the 14-year-old boy standing there, but behind him you see an 8-foot tall gorilla. And that's what the police officer was seeing. So if you as much as show a little temper, you got to understand, in that society, it's 10 times more than what it is. And the frustration that we go through when somebody's challenging us, stepping on our sneakers, looking at us, what you looking at, man? What you looking at? And life is sweet, y'all. Life is sweet. And I've had a lot of close calls in my life and situations that I did not have a hand in. and misunderstandings from other people. And I'm glad to get to this point. Life is long, y'all. Young black men, understand that. You're frustrated in the reality that you're in now and you think it's not going to change. It will change. It will get better. Don't let the frustration of the present time get the best of you. I am a black man just like you. Born and raised in New York City. Don't get no better. Doesn't get any worse than that. I was never a gangster. Yes, Jessica J. Amani in the house. Good to see you here, sister. Good to see you here. Just talking to the brothers, but I want the sisters to be here too. Because it's really for the both of us. You can't have one without the other. But you gotta manage your temper, y'all. Let me tell you something about old SCURV. I had one of the worst tempers known to man. My mother and my father had to sit me down one day and really talk to me. I was always mild-mannered. I didn't have a short fuse. I had a long fuse, but when it went off, oh my God. And I understood the consequences that can happen. Even when I was doing bodybuilding back in the day, I always knew that nobody's gonna fight me. They're gonna wanna pull a gun. So you have to know how you come off, and you have to know when you're provoked and when to back off. It's not weak to show restraint. Here's another one. Staying true to your financial goals. Living paycheck to paycheck can push anyone to make desperate choices. The temptation to take shortcuts might seem appealing, but it's those same shortcuts that could trap you in debt or worse. Stay disciplined and think long term. See, because there's a lot of frustration in the black community, short-term gratification can seem to be the answer. And we know we need to hold on to this cash or need to put it somewhere or do something with it, but too many of us, our financial situation is almost like filling a bucket that has several holes in it. You're trying to fill it with water. And while the water's going in and you can feel the weight of the water going in, it's like, wait a second, I've been standing here for 10 minutes trying to fill this bucket by this well. And it's not getting anywhere. Let me tell you something. It's very, very, very important to understand how finances work. And they don't teach us these things usually in school. And oftentimes, I hate to say it, but the preceding generation usually doesn't know or have financial literacy. That's just the way it is. It's another one. Prioritizing education and learning. I don't know why a lot of us think education is something corny. I don't know why a lot of us think education is not necessary. I don't know why. Education isn't just about degrees. It's about expanding your knowledge and your options. Every bit of learning strengthens your foundation, making it harder for anyone to shake you down or hold you back. I'm gonna tell a little story. I'm gonna have somebody here chuckling. But I received a text message, and my dear sister is in the process of ascending in her creative realm. And there was a technological question that I thought I can help her with. And I went into my bag of tricks, asked around, and quickly came up with an answer, not because I'm great, but because I knew where to look. You know, sometime when you get ready to go somewhere and you go to the neighbor that you get along with, you say, oh, do you have that little lint roller that you can roll off lint? And I think I have one somewhere. Let me go look for it. And here they come, because there's a couple little pieces of lint that just seems to be stuck to your dress. Well, this wasn't a lint roller. This was about a piece of information. And if we weren't educated enough and intelligent enough to know how to problem solve, and to understand that every so-called problem, which I don't say problem, I'm saying that for understanding purposes, but I say challenge. Every challenge has a solution. You want to get somewhere, want to accomplish something, it's out there. We have to find it. And we found it. And I felt so good. Because you see, we're thinking individuals. If we sat there and said, oh, there's an obstacle here, I can't get over it, oh, I get over, I'm quitting. And the whole day seems different now because you have an answer to your challenge. Education doesn't have to be just sitting up in a school. How about self-education? What happens when you get out of school? What happens to the people who dropped out of school? What happens to the people who only have a third grade education but taught themselves a profession, a career, an area of expertise? Of course, yes, you have to get the piece of paper. I understand that. I understand that. And so much can be done. I learn every single day. I can't sleep unless I learn something. Oh, last night I couldn't get to sleep at all. So I had to pick up a book. And really and truly, I didn't sleep at all that. I'm so excited. And my nerves, not in a bad way, my nerves are on edge. It's just like when you're in school on a Friday, the last Friday before the summer vacation, and you're looking at the clock, and the bell goes ding, 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 and you're out of there because the summer vacation is starting, and you feel that rush of adrenaline. Well, I got some things going on right now, counting down to it. And I'm thinking about it. I shouldn't be thinking about it so hard, but the adrenaline is rushing, and I feel so good. And everything I had to endure, and every tear I had to shed, everything I had to go through makes this period of my life even more sweeter. But you don't want to get there and be a dummy. The smarter you can be, more information that you can absorb. Fellas, now you know you like to talk to the ladies. She doesn't want to hear an idiot.
Well, you know what I'm saying. I be hearing that on TV, or I be on YouTube all the time. I heard.
No, that's not an intelligent conversation. If you can read a little bit about everything and learn, you can talk about anything if you don't even know everything about that particular topic. Stock up on knowledge, brothers. It makes you more interesting. No woman wants to deal with an idiot. Career decisions. Don't settle for any job. Find work that supports your growth. Sometimes the right career will take time to find, but rushing into the wrong one can mean years of regret. Now, of course, yes, you got to get money. I understand that. We're in a man-made engineered system. But there'll be times when you take a job that, yes, will definitely be below you. There's nothing wrong with saying that. You take what you can get to keep the hands moving, keep the ball rolling. You got bills, you got responsibilities. It doesn't mean that that's your identity. It doesn't mean that you're right. But that's all you, and you'll have people who will want to assign that to you.
Oh, you ain't nothing but a bus driver. You ain't nothing but a correction officer. You a jail guard.
You don't know what's in my head. You don't know the seeds of greatness that are inside of me. How dare you look at the surface and relegate me to something which there's nothing wrong with those jobs. Because you can, look, I met a man when I was working down Orange County Corrections, 33rd Street in Orlando, Florida, right off of John Young Parkway, the 15th largest jail in the whole country. I forgot what his name was, but that doesn't matter. He said, this older white man, he was Greek though, but you know, he's a Greek version of the white man, right? But you know, Greeks got that little coloring in them. And he was always quiet. But when he began to talk, and he had so much knowledge on investments and what you can do with a little bit of money. And here we are working so much overtime, and many of the officers will let the money just go away, just float away. And this man helped to change our lives with the knowledge, the practical knowledge that he taught us. Yet he was there working as a corrections officer. That was something for him to do that he said he wanted to try out. Come to find out, this man didn't even need to work. He retired from something years before, and he was sitting at home bored. He said, let me try this out for the experience. Let me tell you something. That's living. Imagine going to go for a job because I want to try this out. I want to see how much fun it could be, or the experience of it. Imagine that. That you go on to work by choice. Yes, it's the best thing to do something for yourself. But I always thought about that. Come to find out, the man was a multi-millionaire several times over. But you should see the car he drove. I think it was a Toyota Corolla that was like 6 years old. The house he lived in was a 3-bedroom, 1-story house in a moderate neighborhood. That's how he got all the money. He wasn't rolling around on the weekend with all these gold chains and rims on a car that he just bought and paying a high interest rate. And you know, for people who don't have good credit, anybody who's listening to this in the present or in the future, let me know. In Florida, I never saw nothing like this in New York before. They have a spot where you can buy cars called Buy Here, Pay Here. There's no banks you have to go through. It's for people with jacked up credit. But you have to have a car. And what you're paying for that car, usually weekly. If you miss a payment, they take it. You're paying so much for this little putt-putt vehicle. And the funny thing about it was, which was a shame, but it's a business. These guys who had these lots, they also had luxury cars, Mercedes-Benz, late model Jaguars, BMWs. I'm like, the buy here, pay here spot is for the persons struggling with their credit. So, I mean, it's hard enough paying all of this money for a regular car that may not be up to par all the way. But you're gonna be, but you know what? It's those dope boys that did that. They didn't have any work history, any credit, and they were making the money, and they didn't care if they were paying triple the price just to say they were driving a Mercedes-Benz. Look, there's no future in that. That is straight stupid. Career decision? Yes. Taking care of your health. Health is wealth, and ignoring your body will cost you in the long run. Regular checkups, a decent diet, exercise can prevent you from becoming another statistic. Yes, we all will expire. I believe in our DNA. When left alone, our expiration date is set. I think we can extend it a little more if we take care of ourselves, and surely we can cut it short by what we do and what's in the environment. There's certain things we can't control. But these substances that these organizations, let me just say that, because a couple of years ago, we all were wearing a mask. These things we put in our body, we don't know what the consequences are. You better know. And that's part of taking care of your health. You have the first right of refusal to say, no, I'm not putting this in my body. But yet and still, I know every now and then you may take a little drink or whatever. I'm not going to knock you on that. I know every now and then you're going to have a piece of cake, a little piece of fried chicken, whatever it may be. Because you don't want to really be so rigid where you can't live a little bit. But some people run themselves down. You got some people almost 30 years old, got the liver of somebody damn near 90. And you got some 90-year-olds out here who their internal organs are so clean because they kept themselves right. So you're giving youth. It's like here's youth. It's 14, 15, 16. Yeah, you can do things. You can stay up all night, go to school or go to work the next day. You can do this, you can do that. But after that first starter kit of youth, that's a whole subject right there. That's the title right there. The starter kit of youth. I'm not going to go into that. But if you see it, it started here. Once you spend that lump sum of the starter kit of youth and you're not maintaining yourself, you're not doing the right thing by yourself, well, guess what? You're in a sorry state of affairs. That will be its own show. Most of these talking points will be its own show in the future, right? deciding when to move out. Remember, we're speaking to black men, young black men, not so young. Leaving home too early can leave you stranded, but staying too long might limit your growth. Find the balance and don't make the leap unless you're ready to stand on your own. See, the temptation to leave early and get your own place, even if it's a room, because you have these, say, Willie Rivers, welcome on in, my brother. And if in Shaka, getting the superstars coming up in here now, not that those who are already here are not superstars, everybody who comes to this show is. I pale in comparison to the company that I keep. This is why you keep me on my toes and keep me pushing. It keeps me very happy. But the temptation, you know, you can't bring girls in your house or put your mother and your father. Some people get away with it. Sometimes you sneak it in. They're going to be gone for the next 2 days. You can come. I know about all of that. I was a teenager once. But sometimes we start to think about the freedoms that come from adulthood, but we don't think about the responsibilities that come with adulthood. Every young man, 13, 14 years old, say, man, I can't wait till I get older so I can get a car just like that. No young man says, I can't wait to get older so I can get a car like that, so I can have a high behind note. No, they don't say that. You want to get that apartment. Sometimes brothers get together. Let's 3 of us get together. Let's get a 3-bedroom apartment. And it's cheaper for us, and we'll all have our own room and space. Until one person skips out on paying the rent. Until you now bringing that girl in the room all the time. You all know what you're doing. You know what I'm talking about. Come on, baby. Now the 3 of y'all went in to get this apartment, but she's expecting a baby. What you gonna do now? See, leaving too early from home and leaving too late. I'm gonna say it. Look at the Jewish people, the Jewish, right? It would be an insult for most of them to allow their son or daughter to leave out too early and rent from somebody else. Unless they had to go to a different state or business or something, and it's always within their circle. They ain't going for it. When you leave, you moving into something of your own because those parents take it as a disgrace. Oh no, you ain't leaving out like that. Chance Rogers, Lance be scurving them. He's scurving them. Every day I'm scurving them. Yeah. But we don't think about that most of the time, and the consequences. The worst thing, yeah, catastrophes happen. Sickness happens. There are reasons to come back home. It's not a disgrace. But when you ran out too early, then you got to come back home because you had a misstep that you didn't anticipate. It doesn't feel too good. So take your time, young men and young ladies. I'm speaking to the brothers tonight. You know? Choosing where to live. Your neighborhood shapes your opportunities and your safety. Picking a place that supports your goals and keeps you safe more than anything else is more important than having the nicest view of the closest commute. Safety, y'all. Remember, you look for the view, you look for the short commute. You don't know what kind of neighborhood that might be. When I first moved down to Orlando, Florida, I went over by, and those who know Orlando, Florida would know, especially back in the day, went over there by, what's the road there? Oh man, I'm forgetting the road. But it was Texas Avenue, and Texas Avenue. There was a block off of Nashville. It'll hit me. But Texas Avenue, y'all. And in the daytime, when we went to look at the apartment, this is back in 2000, early 2001. Palm trees. Because you know, up in New York City, you're not seeing palm trees. So for me to feel the Florida heat and the palm trees and everything nice. And the apartment complex had a nice swimming pool. It was clean. Nobody was around. It was quiet. And I couldn't wait. We took it. All of a sudden, the next night, or the first night, not the next night, because we didn't get in right away. We had to check up our backgrounds and make sure I wasn't somebody who was a person who had a big record or whatever. We moved in, and I still didn't start working yet. We had just got down to Orlando, Florida. I had my prospects to go to work in the jail, but that was going to require the background investigations and all these different things. This is going to take a little while. I was set. So I'm calling friends of mine. I'm so excited to be in a new place. So I called up to New York. How is it, man? How is it, man? It's beautiful down here. And you know, fellas, they knew that I was married, but man, how the girls look. And they weren't talking about girls, they're talking about grown women. So, man, your eyes will fall out. You know, I'm going to amp it up. Beautiful sisters everywhere in the country. So anyway, make a long story short, we got off one of the phone calls. And I heard people in the swimming pool. And it was 3 o'clock in the morning, which I didn't know if they had rules where you can go in any time or there was a curfew. Well, I hear dudes out there, hey man, so-and-so, splash, splash, oh man, so-and-so. So I peeked out of the blinds. Kelly Land, how are you? Exactly. Kelly Land said jails are nothing to go to. It's dangerous and sinister. I don't want no black person to get locked up. No, you don't. I've never been there against my will as far as like a jail or a prison. I've had to defend myself a couple times and spend a couple hours here and there. But other than that, I never did anything to end up somewhere. And you don't want that too. I gotta call up a few of my buddies I used to work with. We just have a round table and talk about old jail stories, prison stories, right? But I looked out the window, peeked through the blinds at the swimming pool, hearing these dudes. They all had deep voices. And when I looked, I didn't see one man. I saw nothing but what looked like to be women. But they were men, about 8 of them. And I don't know, oh yeah, you just don't know the half of them. Riri, yes, you caught us live. On the radio at the time, Trick Daddy had a song out called Thug, or I'm a Thug. I don't know if you could remember that song. It was back in 2001. I can't sing it, but I remember the chorus. I don't know what this world is coming to, but I know one thing. This is a life I live. Baby, I'm a thug. Dun, 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 dun. Remember that? Well, it was playing low on the radio, and I'm seeing these cross-dressers, trans people, in the pool with 2-piece bathing suits on with deep Barry White type voices. So this is going back to the whole segment of choosing where to live. I didn't realize that we moved into an apartment complex that came alive at night. The prostitutes, the gay prostitutes, the drug dealers. You see, when we did a tour of the place, everybody was sleeping. But I got more to talk on about that. That's for another episode, but I got some stories, y'all. And that fooled me. Let's see, I was close to the jail. See? So I figured it would be convenient. And if the vehicle wasn't working, I could still walk it and get there. And it was still a long walk. But then again, the other officer's like, are you crazy? You're going to walk in that neighborhood in a uniform? And back then, the corrections uniform looked just like the sheriff deputy's uniform. It was crazy. So yeah, I got stories on that. Next point. Black men, keeping your circle small. Not everyone needs to be in your life. The bigger your circle, the bigger your risks. Keep it tight, filled with people who genuinely care about you and your success. Now, there's always that individual who is a friend of a friend and another one, but pretty much, if you keep decent people who care for you in your circle, not people who want to hang around you because you have a vehicle and they don't. Not somebody who wants to hang around you because you got a pretty shapely girlfriend and they don't, and they're really looking at that girlfriend of yours. Not somebody who understands that, well, you have a little money because you work hard, but they don't want to work, so they want to mooch off you. You don't know. And the good people, you will help them. Peaceful pulley. Welcome on in. Peace to you. Those people, like I gotta say it. I got some friends of mine who I can't even, it's an insult to call them friends. They're brothers. They're brothers to me. And we speak every day. And they came from decent families. And we created decent families. And we talk every day. And from back in the day, growing up, yeah, we know each other's secrets. I won't tell your secrets. Nothing bad or nothing sinister. But, you know, boyhood stuff, growing up, funny little stories that we know that we won't make public. And we've held on to each other over not only just the years, but the decades. You know, some certain names I can mention because certain friends of mine are very private. They've had positions in law enforcement where, you know, but they know who they are. And we speak every single day. And sometimes days go by, you know, you're busy, whatever. We catch up on stuff. We know what's going on in each other's lives. We wish the best for each other. And anytime any one of us has some dilemma or some question or some life issue, we're there for each other. And it's just like I have a piece of my young teenage years, my single digit years, and all of us already know each other. So it's not like I got a friend over there and there's another one over there. And that happens. There's nothing wrong with that. Keep it tight. Keep it tight. That's a whole other show. Next, avoiding the trap, and I mentioned this earlier, avoiding the trap of instant gratification. Fast money, fast success, fast relationships might seem exciting, but they rarely last. Building something solid takes time, and it's worth the wait. I remember there was a car lot in my neighborhood. I wanted this car so bad, but I didn't have enough money. And I was so fiending on this vehicle. But see, my vision was narrow. I've always been a broad thinking person. But, you know, I mean, you're 17, 18 years old, they got the best of you. You have these things that happen. And the car was sold. And my heart was broken. Now I look back, 61 years old, and I'm like, I couldn't tell you. Now what's going on? My throat here. I couldn't tell you the amount of cars and vehicles that I've had. Welcome on in, hero. Peru, I'm sorry, but you're a hero. Yeah, the freaks come out at night. I know that. Oh, I know that. But they're still walking around in the day. That's the thing. The freaks come out of that all shapes and sizes. You ever walk through like a woodsy area that's close to a populated area? And it's nature. You walk through, and for a while you don't see any streets. You just walk through. It's like a shortcut. It's all trees. But you walk past there at night. You don't even go in there at night. You walk down the sidewalk next to it, and you hear all, like, what the heck? Those things and animals didn't come from somewhere else and go in there just to work a shift at night. Well, I'm on the animal shift at night, the nocturnal animals. I got to go there and make noise. No, those same very things are right there, hidden in plain sight. usually sleeping. Now, I don't know why I brought that up. But going back to the fast money, fast success, fast relationships, when you're younger, it seems like you must have. But wait, could you imagine me wanting a car in the late 70s or early 80s and the anxiousness that I felt? And it wasn't just that, it was an anxiousness to live life, but I also knew, because of my parents teaching me some sense, that I had to be grounded and take my time. Because the energy I had then, you think I got energy now. I always say it, and I never did that. But there are people who ask friends of mine, like, yo, your boy Lance, man, is he sniffing or something? Remember that day we got up early and did whatever, and I saw him late at night coming in off the train from the city, and he was walking with all this pep in his step. That ain't natural. Yes, it is when you take good care of yourself. That's why I feel strong now. Oh, I can feel the passage of time. I'm not in denial of that. I can't compete with the 20-year-old SCURV from 41 years ago, right? But there are not too many 61-year-olds who can keep up. Let's just put it that way. And that's not ego speaking. That's being proud of my trajectory and all of those who have fed into me in that tight circle. See? That smaller circle of extended families, friends, community, that undergirded and kept us intact. When the temptation of other things came around, hey man, that girl's not for you, man. She got a reputation, man. We already know about her. Don't even start that with her. She's gonna break your heart. She might have you in the clinic too. You see what I mean? Here's another one: managing public perception. See, we don't usually think about these things. Like it or not, people will judge you before you speak. Present yourself in a way that represents your values. First impressions can open doors or slam them shut. I know it's fashionable for some guys who want to sag their pants and stuff, and I don't sign off on that. I'm not saying you have to be suited down every single day, right? But present yourself. Perception is a heck of a thing. People hear you in the street when you're cussing and damning. People see you in the street when you're turning around and look at every single woman's backside. And now you want to talk to this one young lady who you think is special to you, and she's not giving you no play because she sees how you carried on. And man, I see you up on every woman out there, man. I don't know, I can't. And they might not even tell you that. You see what I mean? Perception is everything. Just like the young lady I met a few weeks ago here in Ghana, who my friend, who I've known over a decade, called me, and I said this earlier, I'm saying it for the folks who are here, called me and said, look who's next to me right here. I was like, whoa! And this is in Florida, but I'm in Ghana. Just met her, she flew out and knows my friend for years. What if I was a prick? What if I insulted her? What if I said something improper to her? You see what I mean? Public perception. And it's not just a public thing, but you want to carry yourself across the board. Listen, you all know I have some shows, I crack some dirty jokes, all that stuff. Yeah, but that's not me. Maybe somebody would come at first and say, oh God, this show is nasty and filthy. I have shows like that on separate platforms maybe. But there's so much work to be done. And I like to make people laugh too, and you all know that. We will do some stuff. But the older I get, I'm like, okay, we got to mix it up, but more so now where there's so much work to be done. And I'm one of the older guys now. So I can't just cater to hedonistic indulgences and carnal pleasures. They're there. I know what it's all about. Trust me, I know what it's all about. So if I'm talking like this after experiencing a lifetime of those things that many of our young brothers think is new to them, well, that old man don't know what he's talking about. Oh yeah? Go take a time machine and go meet me back in the mid-'80s. I'm glad I'm alive. I'm glad my bloodstream is clean. But you can't play now. You got to be very, very careful. I'm shooting it from the hip, y'all. Balancing confidence and humility. Be proud of who you are, but don't let pride cloud your judgment. Sometimes humility can be the tool that keeps you safe in dangerous situations. Don't be so quick to want to prove how tough you are. Because being tough is a very thing. Sometimes trying to prove it to somebody, it'll get you deleted and unalived. You know, that's the lingo we have to speak on now. We have to speak deleted or unalived. Because you got to prove that you can take this person. You can, no. I'd rather take and be able to go home and be alive. And I'm telling you, people can tell you from back in the day who I'm not a punk. I'm not a pushover. But the stakes are high these days, y'all. And the wrong thing said, this perception, people are so quick to whip out guns. So many guns out here. Doesn't mean you walked away from a situation and you got the best of a person and you ridiculed this man in front of his woman and he never forgot that. Now you walking down the street late at night, and he happens to be hanging out on a rooftop somewhere with some buddies. Yo, I'm gonna get him now. There you go. And you don't know where it came from. Pow! You might have heard the first millisecond of the gunshot. You didn't realize the rest of it that landed in your head, in your skull, and you're out of here. See what I mean? Confidence and humility. Very important to know. Avoiding dangerous situations. Know when to walk away. If something feels off, you got to trust your instincts. It's better to be safe than end up somewhere you don't want to be. See, when you're intoxicated, those instincts are off. It blurs reality. Your judgment is off. It'll make you feel like Superman. I don't care what he say. I don't care if he got 10 boys out there with him. He said that. I'm going out there to deal with this. And it might have been somebody who whispered a lie in your ear, and because you walked up intoxicated, he's intoxicated. Ego, testosterone, the women around, you got your friends around, you got to prove something. Everybody want to be Mike Tyson. Ain't nobody trained it. I'm not saying y'all don't train. I'm just saying it for effect. Ain't nobody trained a day in their life. Don't know what it's like to get punched in the face. If you know that, you can take it. You still don't want to have it done. Not a good feeling. Not a good feeling. I used to play around with my friends with boxing gloves, and 3 days your ears are ringing, and no way. And that's where it ends when you do that in the gym. In real life with a stranger and you gotta walk the streets, no man, I'm not doing that. Let me tell you something, I'm not dumb. First of all, I was never a gangster. I was never a thug. There were a few situations I had to deal with. A couple times I lost my temper. And thank God that everything worked out all right. But there's so many people that I know that are not here right now, and you hear the stories, and most of us have a story or 2 or 10. But we know those who came up in that particular time, even coming up to the present time, there's always been something eaten away in the black community and coming at our black men. And yes, our black women too. I'm just addressing brothers tonight. I'm going to address the sisters with brother. Trust and believe. I'm not slighting the sisters. When I go in with them, I'm going to go in deep. And we all know the story, but for me, there's a lady I knew in Orlando. I don't even know if she's with us. Almost, really about 15 years ago. Let me see. 17 years ago. I think the last time. 16, 17 years was the last time I talked to her. And I think she was 82 then. She was driving, had her faculties and everything. Wise and crack jokes. And it wasn't like, oh, she has her faculties, but she's old acting. We just saying it to make her feel good. No. She's straight up alert. Only thing, she wore glasses. That's it. And walked a little slower. She's one of them people that you'll see her like 20 years from now, and she's calling. She's like, oh, damn. You know what I mean? So we were talking, and she was dropping so much wisdom on me that I saw the value of her. And we don't have enough of that in the Black community these days. And I told her, I said, it's so refreshing to speak to you because she wasn't a person who was stuck in her ways. She had her healthy habits that kept her alive. And I guess she lived in a way that most people would say is corny, because she could tell you what she's going to be doing. You know, she had her way of worship. She had a time with her friends that they would go out, right? Break a night, but from early, they'd shop together and go sit down at a restaurant. And it was that way till the next week. If anything came up, they were there for each other. A good, predictable life that undergirded a long life. This is what I'm into, right? But the sad part is, when we spoke in depth, I said, you know what? You have more of your friends from your youth, and you're 82, 83 years old. And so 17 years ago, what was I? 61, go back, 54, 44. I was 44 then. I said, you have more of your friends from youth than I do, because crack wiped out a whole generation. If it didn't wipe it out, it affected it. It affected most Black families in the Black community. Not only just from, it wasn't like everybody was smoking crack. Some people were selling it. Some people who were selling it had rival drug dealers who didn't like that and killed them. Some people who were selling it got locked up. And when they were locked up, they got other charges when they were locked up. You know how those Rockefeller laws were? For just weed? Now crack? But cocaine didn't get the heavier charges because that was a drug for more fluid. But crack, oh no. That. So most of the people, and just for that alone, not even just natural causes, accidents, moving away. So there's a void in my heart, aside from my tight circle of friends that took care of themselves and had morals and integrity and had good families. Those other people who populated the neighborhood, I couldn't tell you where they are. Sometimes I'm sitting in the bed, you know, still got my phone in my hand, I'm still looking at things, and a song comes on YouTube that I might be playing in the background. I say, man, you know, that reminds me of this one or that one. Let me search their name on Facebook. Let me search it. Let me do a Google search. I don't sit up here all day Google searching names, because I'm online a lot, y'all, writing and preparing and doing this banner that you see, and it takes a lot of time. This one I threw together quicker is what I did earlier, right? Because I have the time more so now, and I'm still busy. But you see the names sometime, and you see the very unique names. If a person's name was Joe Smith, good luck, because you know how many Joe Smiths there are, right? But look at my name, Lancescurv. It's easy to find me. Easy to find me. And I put all this stuff out on social media, and most people don't live like that. But for the names that I find, I said, man, this is 2024. What you mean they died in 1997? This is 2024. What you mean they died in 2008? That makes you look at life different. You say, whoa. We're all going to transition. But let me keep my behind in a little more than usual, because I ain't trying to tempt fate. I'm not scared, but I'm not going to do anything stupid, because I realize how precious life is. That's why I avoid dangerous situations. That's why I take a little more than I would have taken before. And I wasn't a hothead. But if you really push my buttons over time, you know what I mean? I got some story. Like I say, I keep saying it out. I might have a story that we just talk some stories, some stuff in the past. And I don't even know what I'm going to say. I'm just going to start at point A and go go around the world, nah, yeah. We're just gonna go all over the place. Dealing with authority figures, whether it's the police, bosses, or teachers, understand how to handle authority with respect, but not submission. Ooh, I'm gonna say that again. Whether it's the police, bosses, or teachers, understand how to handle authority with respect, but not submission. Knowing how to navigate these interactions can save you unnecessary troubles. Come on, y'all. We know that police officer that maybe we don't know his personal business, but he got problems at home because he can't control his household. Not control in a bad, controlling, narcissistic way, but in a way where, maybe he doesn't get respect. Maybe his wife is around and about, running around. He comes to work and he's going to have to take it out on you. Now, we know that's wrong. But we have to know how to navigate these things, handle it with respect, as long as you're not violated. Now, I'm not saying to take it. Doesn't mean that you have to go in a mentality of submission. And a lot of black men feel challenged, like, oh, he want me to submit. And see, a lot of these cops want you to. I'm using the police as an example. Right? And so that's a recipe for disaster. Because the very presence of a uniform can set off some of our young black men who don't have the control, who don't understand that today is the day you want to get out of successfully. Doesn't mean you have to tap dance and sambo for anybody. It just means you have a long-term vision for your life. And in the boxing ring, it's not about how you hit all the time, it's how not to get hit. How not to get hit. You can prove something by being this warrior, and I ain't taking this or whatever. Like the fighter who wants to stand toe to toe. Now he's older and he can't hardly talk. He's punchy. Can't hold his balance. All the people that applauded him, they're gone. You gotta take care of yourself. You have to know how to deal with authority figures without feeling, because a lot of people who wear uniforms, not all. I wore a uniform one time. The folks loved me. I'm not saying they actually love me now. They respected me. And I said, listen, we're going to have a good time. You show me respect. I'm doing my job. You're straight up. I'm straight up with you. A couple little things I can turn my head on. Right? As long as you're not violating. Just stay up a little extra time or whatever as a reward. Whatever. I never had a problem. I never had a problem. Because I knew how to communicate to different types of people. And I knew how to discern their spirits. I knew how to find the common denominator. If I was 5 and they were 20, meaning that I was 1/5 and they were 2/20ths, how do I got to multiply myself times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. Now we can meet on even ground. How do you meet on even ground to understand people unless you have experience with people and you have control to know what you're dealing with? I told you the story when I was in the bodega, went to the back to get a big thing of Tropicana orange juice, and a dude came in there with a gun to shoot the little Middle Eastern dude in there. And I turned around and I knew exactly what to do. I wasn't, oh, please, man, that may make it worse. I said, damn it. I know how you feel. Sometimes I want to just rob everybody. Man, making money out here is tight. Man, so-and-so. And he was like, who's this fool? And I found the common denominator of frustration. And it stopped, and we talked. And the man came to his senses. Because if he was driven even further, could have ended my life. So you have to be able to think on your feet. And how are you going to be able to do that unless you have a sampling of the different types of entities and personalities and people with hang-ups and just all different types of people to evaluate it quick to know what's coming at you. Setting personal boundaries. You have to define what you will and won't accept in your life. Letting people overstep those boundaries leads to resentment and regret. Because see now, when they overstep it, you don't say anything, you've compromised yourself and you're silently mad, but you didn't do it when you had to do it on the spot. Straighten that stuff out on the spot. You have to set your personal boundaries. Like, yo, I don't mind hanging out with you tonight, but all y'all are smoking. I can't tell you not to smoke. But if we're gonna be in the car and I'm inhaling, I can't do it, man. I'll take a train or I'll go somewhere else and we'll meet up over there. I'm not telling you, respect me if you want my company. Whatever it may be. Listen, I don't drink. And I know you love your cars pretty and brand new, but if you drink, I'm not getting in the car with you. I got to drive. See what I mean? Be vocal about it, state it, and people will respect you 9 times out of 10. But you know, I want to go back on the other one. We talk about that, about managing public perception. You ever notice how, and I'm not calling my brothers thugs, but the ones who want to portray that, they do some crime unnecessarily. They go stick up some place and shoot and kill somebody. Now they in court with a suit, holding a book that they would never read, with glasses on, and their hair is cut. See, perception. But you doing that because you don't want to be looked at like the person you portrayed yourself to be. Be that way all the time. Be that way all the time as far as your perception, right? That's very, very important. Protecting your mental health. The stress, trauma, and the challenges will weigh heavy if you don't manage them. Seek support, find outlets, and keep your mind sharp. I ain't going to no shrink, I ain't crazy. That's what most of us say. But then we go crazy and do something stupid. I don't know what got into me, man. I love that girl, man. We've been together 5 years. I didn't mean to punch her in the face like that. Well, you could have avoided letting it build up. Communicate to her or somebody or a buddy, or find an outlet, find a group. We're online, look at the social media, we're texting and sharing things, talk, but we're hiding behind it and we hide our tears. We have to have that pressure release valve somehow, some way, or we're going to blow our top. We sit here and we're in denial about the maintenance of our mental health. But you don't do that in the physical level now, do you? I'm in denial that I had a Thanksgiving dinner and I got to run to the bathroom. I'm going to sit here and hold it in. Good luck on that one. Good luck on that one. We know what's going to happen with you. I'm not going to get graphic. We have listeners of all kinds here. But mental health is the same way. Because we're feeling stress, we're feeling trauma. You know, since moving out here, and I'm not going to say this is utopia and everything's perfect and stuff. It feels like that to me. I know how to handle people in different cultures and different things and the differences. What I'm saying is that I'm left alone and I'm home. And me and Mrs. SCURV are here and I'm relaxed. Relaxed here is a different kind of relaxed than when I was in America. My shoulders were tensed all about my neck. Not tense like I'm scared or whatever. It's just a natural thing where you know anything can happen at any time. You turn to the news and home invasions. You turn to the news and, a cop killed when he went to the ATM. That happened a mile away from me when I lived in Orlando. I was up at night. I heard the gunshots. They sounded faint because I had something playing, but I cut the YouTube on. I heard some gunshots. There was a dude about a mile away who got killed. They put him in the trunk, drove him down my street in Orlando, and dumped him in somebody's yard that had nothing to do with it. About 3 minutes away. Imagine that. So you think I'm taking walks at night? Hence the tension. You go to the ATM long before you get to that ATM at night. You looking around and see who's in that parked car that's standing over there. That's not the way to live. We have no choice. We got to watch our back. And that was a cop. They released these 2 guys from a Miami prison at the time. They came to Orlando to raise hell. So they were hanging out by this ATM waiting to get who. Look, I would get off of work sometime and go to that same ATM. That could have been me. Now, I'm not saying things don't happen out here. It's not like that out here. It's not like that out here. Little crimes happening here, but not like that. No way. So when I sleep, I'm sleeping deep. I'm hitting REM sleep quick. They say it takes about 5 hours. Shoot, check me in 2.5. Not really. It still takes time. We have to protect our mental health, because that's like burning the other side of the candle. It's rough enough with the trauma, because family stuff, neighborly stuff on your job, supervisor don't like you, girl broke up with you, your man broke up with you. If you're a woman, specify that. See, think about it. Don't stress about it. Think about the things that make you tense. Try to deal with it. Forget about that stigma. See, and there's a breakdown in our families and our circles. It's a breakdown. We used to depend on each other more. Now we're so rigid and every man for himself. And this is what makes us snap. And this is what ages us too. I have 2 handfuls of people that I can go to now and speak to them about the most intimate parts of my life. Well, Lance, how are you so jolly all the time and so open? And I'm open. First of all, I have no shame. Ain't no shame here. If something going on with me, I'm going to call up somebody close. Like, yo, this is what's going on. And they know me. They got no shame anyway. I'm not saying to go out and speak to anything crazy. But I'm at peace with myself. And I'm enjoying life. Deal with the mental health. Now, I'm not saying I have mental health issues like extreme. I'm saying the stresses that we all feel. You have to clean it up. Make sure. Don't wait for everything to get out of hand. When you're around the house and you cleaned up last week and I don't have to do anything until next week, the stuff starts to accumulate. And if you don't walk by and take that cup, put it in the sink to wash, or something that dropped in the floor, let me pick this up. It's not hard to keep the ball rolling, to keep the mental health ball rolling. I can tell you, working with the incarcerated, working in public transportation, and just being a perceptive all-around dude who had parents that told me the deal, a lot of us are on the edge. And guess what? That affects your body. That affects your health. That affects how you navigate through the world. Your filters are clogged. You can't absorb the goodness. Like an AC filter with a clog, it's clogged. The AC has to work harder. So to get the goodness of the world, and your mental health filter is clogged, you got to fight through so much, and so much is blocking you from receiving the goodness of life. How many times, and of course, if we lose a loved one, we're feeling depressed. Understood. I'm not saying we all Prozac up. I'm not saying take Prozac. I'm just saying it's a joke. Some people walk around and they're probably taking it too. It could be a beautiful sunny day outside. Because you're going through the loss of a loved one, you don't see it, you don't feel it. You can have a refrigerator full of food and you don't want to eat. Don't even eat for 2 or 3 days sometimes. See, that's part of mental health. That's an example of it. I can't stress that enough. Next is holding yourself accountable. At the end of the day, you're responsible for your actions. Holding yourself accountable builds strength and resilience, helping you make better choices. Hold yourself accountable, even when sometimes you could blame the situation or partially blame the next person. Take it as it's you. You know what this does? You say to yourself, okay, I'm taking responsibility for this. I'm not saying that somebody walks down the street and shoots somebody and because they were next to you, well, I'll take responsibility. No, you going. I didn't do that. But taking responsibility for the things in your life, that way you won't let these things happen again, even if someone else had a partial hand in it. Somebody calls you into the office on your job. You and another person are accused of speaking somebody's personal business, coworker who's there. And you know you were listening to it, but they were speaking it. And what are you going to say? Well, it wasn't me. It was them. The way to say this is like, well, listen, I can say that it's not me because I feel it wasn't. But I'm going to take responsibility for this, and I'm going to make sure, as far as I'm concerned, this will never happen again. What does that say? Well, you ain't going to be involved in anything like that again. Now, the next person, you can't cover them. So when it goes down like that again, that same supervisor or boss or administrative person or human resources person will say, you know, I don't think it's him. They'll ask you, hey, say, you heard what I told you. I was there, I heard it, and I removed myself when they started getting down in things. I did not want to be associated with that. Holding yourself accountable. Understanding the importance of reputation. Reputation is currency. Protect it as such. The wrong rumor or misstep can take years to fix. So guard your name and respect. And you'll have people who sometimes see the value of your reputation and try to tear it down. But when you've been living the life and you're doing your thing, whatever that thing is on a good level, people will lean toward favoring you when something comes out. Now look at P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call him. People been knew that he's doing stuff. So when stuff starts coming out, it don't surprise me. Every day something else, somebody else is, you know, little white lady. Oh, did he walk my dog and he had blood coming out of his anus? I don't know what he did. I'm suing him $5 million. No, that's not true. I'm just saying, if you have a bad reputation, anything goes and everything sticks. Now, I depend on my reputation with everybody who's here. Now, what if somebody said, I think Lance is illiterate. He don't know how to talk. He don't know how to write. He damn sure don't know how to draw, and he's lazy. He don't want to do nothing. All he do is get on the computer and look at them naked ladies, and that's all he do, and he don't do nothing else. Am I lazy doing this stuff? I love doing it, so I love doing it, and I'm retired. I have time to do it. But I think I have a better reputation with somebody who says, I'm illiterate, I don't know how to talk, I don't know how to express myself, I don't know how to tell a story. I got a reputation, y'all, and I depend on that. And if the whole world is speaking against you, and you know you got a reputation with the world, let's say that doesn't sound right. A lot of people talking against you, but most of your world knows the reputation you have. It's like, no way. This guy does stuff day in and day out, day in and day out. He does all this other stuff. There's no way. Just like other people do. If your reputation is, it will follow you. It will knock you down, set you to doom, or it will elevate you and protect you. Committing to long-term goals. It's easy to get sidetracked by life's pressures, but having a goal and sticking to it is what separates those who struggle from those who thrive. Set your sights on something meaningful and go after it with everything you have. And that's the problem. A lot of our young black men don't have direction. Well, they have directions for certain things by default because that's the atmosphere and the environment they may come up in. So it's easy to fall victim, but we have to make them see something different, that there's something different on the menu. You go into a restaurant and you order the same thing. Well, maybe you'll still order the same thing without looking at the menu, but check out the menu every now and then because you might see some new things on there. You live in an environment where it's nothing but crack being sold, prostitutes, hustling, gangs, whatever. You didn't realize around the corner there was a community center or a boxing gym or a place where you can go work out. See? Options. When you look at that new food on the menu, you might like that, and that might be your favorite. Like I always ask people, pick your favorite food. Pick the food that if I told you you had to eat this same food for the next week. Say, man, I know exactly what that is. Matter of fact, those who are listening, or those who are going to be on this particular show after it goes up, it's just a plain old video. Tell me what your favorite food is. It doesn't have to be a diet food. I can't say this around SCURV because you eat so clean. No, I'm treating myself every now and then a little something. Yes, I do. Living now. I keep it in check. Right? See, that favorite food at one time you didn't know. You didn't know what it was. You might have knew what it was, but it was the first time you ate it. You said, oh, man, I love this. You probably made a fool of yourself the next week. I'm not calling you no fools, y'all. Right? I'm not calling you no fools. I'm just saying every day you slipped out and you got that same thing. You got a little bit sick of it, but it was still your favorite food. You see what I mean? So we have to understand it's a bigger world out there, black men. We need to try new things and put ourselves in new experiences. Every black man in America has the potential to rise above. You may face challenges that others won't understand. And yes, the weight of those decisions may seem heavier than what anyone should have to carry. But let me tell you something. Each choice you make is a building block in the foundation of your success. It's those smart, strategic decisions that'll set you apart, protect you, and help you to live a life of true fulfillment. Think of it as a game. You watching basketball, football, baseball, boxing. Get strategic in life like, yo, these things are not going to pull me down. I'm slick. I'm going to win this game. I'm going to be successful without having to put myself at risk for a prison sentence. I'm going to carry myself in an upright way. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I love women. But I'm not going to do anything to cause an unwanted pregnancy just because I sweet talk this woman when I know I wasn't going to be ready to stay in her life and take care of a child. I don't care if they call me names. See, there's a world out there, black man, that needs your strength, your resilience, and your unique perspective. Don't let anyone convince you that your path is set, or that your future is already determined by the limits they want to place on you. Oh, you can be a good rapper, or you can be a little hoochie, a rapper girl, or a harlot, or whatever. Just basketball? You know the odds in that? What about having something in your head? If you can be great at basketball, fine. If you can be a good rapper, fine. You know how many rappers around here? You know how many 50-year-old dudes are talking about, man, when I drop that mixtape, I'm waiting for somebody to be my age and say that. I'm going to be like, ah, ha, ha, ha. And they might be successful. But you got to do what you got to have something in your head. You hold the pen to write your own story, and most of us don't understand that. With each choice, you're crafting a legacy that'll speak louder than any stereotype or statistic. You gotta take pride in that power. I remember it was early 2001, and I didn't know how to cut a computer on. When I finally found the button, I called up people in New York because I was just moved down to Florida. Yo, I put the computer on because I was asking them, how do you put the computer on? They're like, Lance, I know you ain't that stupid. I woke up some friends of mine and say that. And they're like, yo, you came a long way. Forget about programs, graphics, and equipment. And I said one thing, and I started that out. I'm going to be me. I am not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to be somebody else. Sometimes I know I have to shut up a little bit here and there because of the people that I'm around. Doesn't mean I'm changing myself. Because I take pride in knowing that I can tell the dirtiest joke in front of the most uptight church congregation in a certain way without saying bad words, and they will crack up. And I'll say it in a decent way. Now, when I get out in the corner with the brothers who they relax their language a bit, I may speak their language. But in this world, we can't be defeated because there's so many things against us. It doesn't mean when I say that you have to have a victim mentality. I'm just letting you know what's out there. You have the strength to overcome. You have to walk with intention. You have to stay vigilant. and know that every crossroads you face is an opportunity. It's not some fight where you're going to get defeated. It's an opportunity to prove what you got on the inside. You know what? You may not know always where each decision will take you. As long as you keep your vision sharp and your spirit strong and focus on what truly matters, there's no limit where you can go. And that's our journey. And we're just getting started. And that should leave you feeling excited about life. And I know I was playing some Public Enemy music earlier, y'all. I was getting hyped, and I was thinking about the 80s, and I'm thinking about all these decades that went by. I don't know if you all experienced this. This is not some kind of dementia or anything, but I've had so many varied, intense experiences in this life that when I think back, I hear a song, I'm like, uh-oh, when did that song come? Was it 97, 96? Oh man, 89? And it's not because I'm forgetful, it's because I've had lots of experiences, I've had to make a lot of decisions. My life has been intense. Intense is an understatement. But I've been there every step of the way and learned from it. Even repeated some misjudgments. You know, pretty face was always my weakness, as well as a few other things. But as you get older, you look back, you see it so obvious in the subsequent generations that come behind you, and you see the frustration they're facing. You want to reach out to them. That's what I did tonight. And I'm going to speak to the sisters. Not that I know everything. It may not be tomorrow. It might be next week or 2 weeks or whatever. But when it hits me, tonight it hit me. And that's not bad for someone who hasn't slept in 2 days. Because like I said, my energy was so high, I couldn't sleep. And it's that creative energy that I have inside of me that goes beyond the body. So I have to say, okay, I try to negotiate. Okay, creative energy. Let me lay down a little bit right now, and I promise I'll do 2 shows tomorrow and write an article. I did write an article too. What was the name of it? I forgot it. Because every time I do something, it's like I'm on to the next one. I don't hang around too long, and that's it, you know. So, that's what it's all about. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it down. Anybody want to come on in and say anything? Or I'm going to retire early. Not early. I should have retired from last night. So if you want to come in and say something, just give a little brief taste. If there's anything you want to contribute. If not, hey, offer's always there. What? You're here tomorrow to do some things, and like I said, there is a real treat coming. I don't want to say what day, and everybody's looking at me like, no. But when you see it, you'll know it's something different. And I'm going to consult with my version of custom model. You know, Mike Tyson had custom model as trainer, right? And I have a sister that I call Sister Cuts. And she's got so much wisdom, and I'm going to ask her about the move, streaming something, or just videotaping it, just hit my head to stream it. Whoa, I can stream that. And I ain't telling nobody. You gotta just keep your eyes open. It'll be mind-blowing. Something so different. And signals in a new chapter in my life. Just from an extension of what I do. That's what it was all about. See what I mean? So it's so much more to my story of moving out here, coming here, so much that we've had to endure and overcome to get to this point. It shows me there is a God. You can say Most High, you can say Creator, you can whatever name you want to call it. But there's no way that things that have dropped into my lap is just by chance. No way. No way. I tell you one thing. had to endure. I had to endure so much. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this down. And I just want to thank you for hanging here with me. I love these freestyle type shows, but I had to speak. Something put in me today. Something triggered me off where I said, you know what? Let's speak to the brothers. Speak to the brothers, the young ones today. These older guys, my age group, they're acting a fool. A lot of them acting a fool. Not all of them. But our role models are being hidden away from us in the mainstream media, the so-called mainstream media. And the internet is making some of the older guys act stupid and young. I'm not saying when you're young you're stupid. I'm saying they're of a chronological age that they should not be acting stupid. Which, what are you trying to do? I'm not saying sit in the rocking chair. No, not me. I'm hip. I'm not trying to talk the slang of some other generation. I'm just me. We'll flow this way. So many of us out here. I love it. We'll always ride. Anyway, say it like this. Much love to you all. Take care. And I will see you on the next one. Much love, y'all. Peace.
So, hello, this is Martha. Actually, today I got to meet my friend Lance. Yes, I got to meet my friend Lance. This is my first time meeting him in person, and he's a very kind man, seriously. I do talk with him on phone, on WhatsApp, but I've never got to meet him. But today, he's just extraordinary. He's very, anything you want to know about life, anything you want to know about just him, anything you want to know about life, please. YouTube, Telegram, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media channels, you got to find him there. He's very inspiring. He's very positive. If you want anything positive about life, please subscribe to Lancescurv. And then every day you got to see different videos, different talks, different topics about life. See you.